MFL Nation, MFL Total Access, another episode. Here we go.
Big episode, lots of games, playoff race heating up. But before we get into that, we had a major announcement at the field on Saturday at LeBaire. Given that we were out at LeBaire at the same time, given that there was a game that featured a lot of these players, we figured why not announce it at the field and not beforehand. You know what I'm talking about?
The um the nice one-handed catches. Yeah,
We've
no, no,
got
I know, I
our
know.
2024 Hall of Fame inductees, and there were four of them. Uh, what were your initial reactions? Because you didn't know either.
I had no clue, like literally no clue. I had a feeling it maybe something like that, but I said okay, maybe one or two guys. I couldn't be happier for Owe, obviously, been a long time part of the MFL, and the three guys that got it, guys that played with either in MFL, different leagues, guys that I love, so super well warranted, and I'm really proud of all four guys.
Yeah. So we'll talk about them a little more in detail. I think they deserve a shout out. Go through their accomplishments, why they're there. For those unaware, to be part of the MFL Hall of Fame, you need to have played for at least 5 years or 10 full seasons, without including the winter seasons. Um, so quite some time. You'll get there one day. When did you join?
It was
2021.
2020.
Okay, so soon enough, soon enough. Yeah, so we have two categories. We have the player category, which is pretty obvious. And we have the builder category, which is everything else basically. And our first Hall of Fame inductee was Craig O'Brien, a longtime referee in the league, has played a few seasons as well. Played with Munster Tigers, played with Master Chiefs as well. But we're honoring him and shrining him in the Hall of Fame as a builder. He's been a referee for almost since the beginning, very, very long time. I want to say one of our best referees, but I think he's our best referee in the MFL. It's rare that players have good comments on referees ever, and he's the one that has gotten probably the best feedback amongst players for his fairness, professionalism, his knowledge of the game. He's done quite a few finals now, D1 finals, where he's been the head ref there. When he's officiating a game, players are happy, and whether it's someone officiating with him, the partner is always glad for that. So, yeah, congrats to Owie.
Yeah, like totally, the first reaction when he got it was just even the way he kind of graciously accepted the trophy. That's kind of his mannerisms, and like even the way like he refs football games. Like that's what I kind of always admired about him is he's firm, but always open to to feedback and to asking questions,
Yeah,
as players asking questions to him. And I think he's great. Obviously, super chill with on the sideline. Always, a fun guy to be around. Positive vibes, smiling, and like you said, it's really about that line between being professional and like being able to be a good referee while being gracious. And I think he does a great job of doing both. So.
yeah, you mentioned a good point that always giving explanations to the players, always like being preventative in that manner and all that. And I think that's something that the players appreciate a lot. So congrats to Oi. Um, Now let's get to the players. So we had three players. You want to go ahead and announce them?
Yes, we had Andrew Flash Grant, Marvin Steinberg, and Chris Hope, Iron Wolves.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we're gonna show some of these stats and how good these players are. And it's crazy because like all three of them are playing like their best football right now, right? Like I think um, like all three of them like are completely killing it right now or have been killing it. So we'll start with Chris. I'm mainly highlighting their Div 1 and Div 2 accomplishments here. So Chris joined the MFL in 2017 on a team called Team 9. It was a free agent team. And like when we entered the teams on the website, before having like a team name, there's like a placeholder name because we didn't get the team names yet. And this team was like the ninth team entered, so they were called Team 9. And then I think they just said let's be called Team Nine. His first season in the MFL, he took him to the championship game and he won the championship. So his first ever season, he was a D2 champion in the MFL back in spring 2017 with a free agent team, all players he never threw before with or never played before with. And it's pretty interesting. You look at his stats, and he's been killing it in Division Two, mainly with nice TDs. Two championships to his name. The second one came at the hands of were we OG Panthers or Space Apes at the time. I lost to Chris and Andrew in that finals. Batman couldn't get in without his Robin, or vice versa. And you look at his Division One, where he's been mainly a receiver and consistently balling out every season. Played for a few different teams here, but what strikes me the most, going through his stats, his long list of stats here, is this current season that still has quite a few games left to play, is his best statistical season from a yards perspective. He should beat out his record from receptions, and he's close to it touchdowns. We keep saying he's close to retiring, but this guy has another like 10, 15 years left on the thread. Like the
Oh
cuts.
yeah, minimum.
Actually, well, what's the first thing you think of when you think of Chris?
Durability, man. Just durability, consistency.
I think it's those jukes. And like you're seeing him still juke out like Division One ballers right now, and it's like phenomenal how he does it. Like like I believe him that he's hurt. Like he's actually hurt, but it does not show at all. Like it doesn't show.
It's true. No, like I mean, look, you look at his yards per catch, and he always he's not a big deep threat guy. And a lot of these passes I throw to him at when he's with Iron Wolves, there obviously this season he's playing with Iron Wolves and with me at quarterback. Like I'll throw him like a 3 yard pass, and he'll make it into a gain of 6 or 7, where it should be 4. It should be a 4 yard gain and make it 6, 7. Somebody's 10 plus. So it's not as if or he's hitting these deep post routes or post corners. He's really getting the ball in his hands and like exactly like you said, making defenders miss who are great tacklers.
Yeah, look at his fall 2012 season. Sorry, 2019 season with 12 interceptions through 10 games. He has 54 picks through 108 games in Division One. Literally a pick every second game. In Division Two, he has 44 through 69 games. Like that's almost a pick a game there. Menace on defense and offensively, obviously. Like we just spoke about him on offense, and like you'd argue that he's probably a better defender than a receiver, but it's like really hard to you have to debate that, right? Like just all around great player on both sides of the ball. I think this is a defensive player, yeah, best defensive player of the year in Division One. Quite some hardware in Division Two. I'm looking here. The Trash Talk Award twice, 2 championships, a Best Tackler Award. Yeah. So congrats, Chris. Like, look, MFL is not MFL without Chris in it, right? Like, I think everyone can agree on that, right? Like, whether he's playing on one team, 2 teams, always on the field, always a great guy to talk to. He's been helping out newer teams, always trying to help out those free agents or guys that are coming up in the league. He's around the field, so like a clear veteran of the league, right? So whoever has a chance to speak to him, listen.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very wise guy. Definitely like very, very intelligent, especially when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, I thought he was already a Hall of Famer. That's how big and impactful he's been in the MFL. And it feels like 2017. I would have guessed he was there from earlier than that, because it just feel like exactly like you said. You think MFL, one of
Yeah,
the first people you think is Chris Hope. So that's awesome. Definitely, really, really happy for him, and no one more deserving than him for
not
sure.
always quantity; it's sometimes quality, and Chris brings that quality.
Hey, baby, it's like similar to fine wine.
Yeah. So you want to go to Andrew or Marvin next?
Let's go to Flash.
So your boy Flash here, pretty decorative MFL career. Looking at his, well, actually, let's just start out with he has an award named after him. The the Excellence in the Field of Excellence Award, which was AKA the Trash Talking Bad Mouthing Award, has been renamed to the um, Grant Medal of Excellence. So Andrew can no longer win this award because he's won it so many times, and we baptized it after him. So given that, um, It's free for anyone else to win. But yeah, look at his Division One accomplishments: 8-time Player of the Week, 3-time Division One champion, uh, 3-time Grant Medal of Excellence, uh, twice Best Defender. He has a Best Receiver award, a season MVP, um, and then in Division Two, 3-time Best Receiver, a Best Defensive Player of the Year award, a Grant Medal of Excellence, season champion fall 2018, 5-time Player of the Week. And you look at his receiving yards; he has 5,000 receiving yards in Division Two, and almost 5,000 in Division One. He's almost at 10K receiving yards on his career in the MFL, averaging over a touchdown a game. So like every game he plays in Division One, he's getting at least one touchdown there. In Division Two, it's a little more than a touchdown a game. And him as well. Look, this season, probably one of his best statistical seasons out there, at least up in the top, right? We witnessed it firsthand this past Saturday. He went for over 100 yards against us. Um, and then look on defense as well. A pick every 2 games there, and in Division One, more than a pick every second game. It's like, oh, that was Marvin, my bad. In Division One, probably the same thing. So 28 picks in 100 games. So still every third game about he's getting you an interception. But he's also played rusher anywhere on the field, right? 7 pick sixes, 18 sacks on his career, a safety. Um, yeah, the flash of the MFL.
Yeah, like honestly, just a small guy, but plays like he's 7 feet tall, and that's the crazy thing about him, right? Just I saw him make a catch this week against Outlaws, a game we'll talk about, where I thought it was over his head, and he climbed the ladder, got 2 feet in bounds, and almost scored a touchdown. You talk about a guy like that can do it all, like you said, rushes, be able to play defense, play receiver, just like Swiss Army knife, and the probably the fastest player I've ever played with. Or against in flag football ever. And I love that there's not, people think about like his speed, that is his best asset. But he has great hands, is great
Elusiveness,
route running,
yeah.
and he's very intelligent, high IQ, and that's why he gets a lot of those interceptions. He kind of baits quarterbacks into making those throws. And that's the thing, is that he doesn't just have one. It's not just his speed with Andrew. It's a heck of a lot more with him. And it's I knew he was decorative, but I didn't think he had that many awards. So
Yeah, and like you said, like it's not just his speed. His speed is like his like the thing that people know him of, but like he literally knows every route in the route tree. He could literally beat you one-on-one, fly post, come back, in, out, whatever you want, right? Like a QB's like paradise to have him on your side, and the defensive play caller's nightmare, right, to go up against him. Um,
always got to watch out for him.
yeah, so super well deserved for Andrew. Congrats to you, man. MFL is not the MFL had him as well, right? Like, he's been there for a while, always at the park, always chilling. Like, uh, great guy on and off the field. There's some guys that get into the game, but like Andrew's the guy that like you want to hear him talk during a game, whether it's to his teammates, to the opponent. It's just like it's entertainment. It's free entertainment. Like I'm repping his game sometimes. Like I gotta keep a straight face, right? But inside me, I'm just laughing, and then like it's sometimes he gets close to that line of like unsportsmanlike, but rarely does he. It's always all fun and games. It's always dabbing up the player. It's always like humorous, right? It's always like enlighten other people, and he does a great job at that. Like he makes it more enjoyable to watch him play, like the actual football, but also the blabbing, right? Especially when we had that winter rivalry going on in the snow. Did he make those COVID seasons a whole lot better?
Oh man, yeah, no, hearing his voice is like it almost becomes background noise. It's like that's how present it is in the MFL. But yeah, like makes it so much more fun to play with, play against. And a really great teammate. He's really good, big hype man. Not a guy that a lot of guys in D1 we see call their own number. He doesn't do that. He just comes back to the huddle, quarterback gives him a play, he goes and does exactly what he needs to do. But yeah, no, very very similar to like you said about Chris. You think of MFL, there's a few guys you think of right away. Andrew is definitely one of those guys, and there's an award named after him, right? So that's all you really need to say.
Yeah. And then last but not least, Statman himself, Marvin Steinberg, another really decorative guy. Looking at his stats here, 11-time Player of the Week in Division One, three-time champ, best defensive player, two-time best receiver, season MVP. In Division Two, where he first started with Red Raiders, he won that season in his first MFL season, and also Best Receiver of the Year award. Another player with 4,000 receiving yards in Division Two, over 5,000 in Division One. Who's gonna crack the 10K first, Marvin or Andrew? Andrew's currently playing in Division One and Two, so I think he has more chances. Look, 129 touchdowns through 77 games, 93 through 54 in Division Two. And then on defense, right? Look at his interceptions in each season. 7, 7, 3, 7, 1, 6, 6. And then in Division One, 47 picks through 77 games. A bunch of PDs, pick sixes. Not to mention, he's also quarterback in Division 3 and 4. When he first started quarterbacking, when he had that arm in the cast because he couldn't really play anymore for that one season with the Revenants, he had a big upset win in the playoffs. I think Marvin's one of the most talented players in all of MFL right now. Um, Imagine if the dip was allowed, taking his game to the next level. But yeah,
You talk about like the one of the most dangerous players in the game. You can make the case it's Marv, right? Like just a guy you need to game plan for on both sides of the ball, right? When you're playing defense, obviously you need to have one of your best, if not your best defender on him, and sometimes even play a high low double cover him. When you're on offense, you need to throw the ball a heck of a long distance away from him because at that three he could go from side to side very easily and get those picks. Just a winner, right? A guy that joined Outlaws and continued that championship run. And who knows, right? Outlaws were a great dynasty, but
and he didn't
with
do it. He had his championship before joining Outlaws with the Red Raiders.
that exactly that too, right? So then just solidified and got more chips with the Outlaws. So didn't need the Outlaws to get those chips, but like look at you go to their roster right now, right? A lot of non D1 players playing for them. It's really him, Smuda, Brady, and they're first in division, right? In Division One with I think a record of 7-1. You know, majority of that is due to Marvin. And yeah, he super passionate guy, right? You know, at times I know he'll admit like his emotions get the best of him, but I think that you know that he's a guy that wants to win, and you really need that, especially in Div 1. And again, like you said, Swiss Army knife, can play quarterback, can run, and is able to take the top off of any defense.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. So like, this was a very strong class. For anyone else that was like on the fringe of getting in, it's not you, it's them. Chris, Marvin, Andrew, three top-notch players who are currently playing their best football of their careers in the MFL. And then Craig O'Brien, literally our best official. So, like I said, 5 years of MFL football or 10 full seasons, excluding the winter season, to make it in. Yeah, congrats, Marv, Andrew, Chris, like for real, those four guys like are really. I mean, say it every year when we have these Hall of Famers because to be part of the MFL Hall of Fame, you've been around the league for quite some time, contributing as a player, but also off the field and all that stuff. But like literally, these four guys, like it was a no-brainer this year. Like there was no, it wasn't even close, right?
And it's going to be tough. Like I know there's been some great classes like in the past. You know, I think a little bit before I came, or guys making them like we had Dom LaFour. I think made it the same year as Svetnan. So like this is
I
like
think it was Dom, Svetna, Max, Smuda was in that year too. I might be forgetting someone. I think
you really had like
there was 1 year made the exception and five guys got in. I'll tell you that in a sec. Who was the? Yeah, where were we
yeah.
going to the point?
Yeah, that's like a one A, one B, and you know, compared to this year, you can say this one's one A, this one's one B. It's going to be tough to beat this class for sure. And you know, always cool. Like with the MFL, does you not many many leagues do it. I don't think even giving credit to the officials, right? Like media guys, guys that officiate,
Yeah.
guys that don't that play but are more known for refereeing. And I think that was a great job
Yeah,
done by.
like the non-player category is called the builder category, and you have the same Hall of Fame award, except it writes builder instead of instead of a. So it still definitely says Hall of Famer instead of player on it, and it's for anything else that's not playing. So like refereeing, media crew, helping out with the league, anything that helped grow the league. Like we have guys in the Hall of Fame who have been there because of they helped the with the website or obviously the officials want more straightforward, but just like expanding the league and all that stuff. So, like, but the officials are also a great thing for all our rookie officials now who are joining because our referee crew is growing. You see, there's something maybe to look forward to, so you get rewarded too if you're here for a long time, right? Like, obviously, yeah, like you don't do it for that reason, but to get honored through that at some point in your career there, like I think it's very humbling and a great honor.
100%, 100%. It's even like I said, there's not one more value than the other, right? They're both equal, and you can see how you could affect the game even though you're not playing. I think it's just a great sign of what the MFL is all about.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'd love to take the whole episode to talk about these Hall of Famers even more, but we have a few important games to cover. Uh, what division do you want to start with?
Yeah, like we started talking about these guys. Let's go to Div 1. Let's continue talking about these guys and their play this past weekend.
You know, the NFL has a Hall of Fame game, right? Where it's generally the two teams of the most Hall of Fame players that got in will be playing each other in that Hall of Fame game.
Yeah,
Say this was our Hall of Fame game, Outlaws A team. Unfortunately, it did not live up to expectations. Outlaws 32-1 lead at halftime. Actually, 31 to 2. 32 to 2 lead at halftime. I believe it was a pick two in the stats, but not a pick one. Um, I was officiating another game at this time. You saw more of this game, so I'll let you begin. What do you got to say?
man, we had two weird Division 1 games this past weekend. This one, I was watching it on the sideline with Hall of Famer Chris Hope, and it was shocking to see how the Outlaws defense was able to limit this A team offense. Like you said, their only score was a pick two by Dylan, and it was Dave is tough on himself, and he'll be the first to say he missed a few throws in this game. And but a lot of that was due to the great rushing, the great defensive game plan that the Outlaws had, and just there weren't many windows open for Dave to throw to. So yeah, he did miss a few throws. He did throw those three interceptions, but it was like this team just did not look like a Division 1 offense. And this defense led by Brady calling the defense, putting guys in certain spots. It was just such complimentary football from the start of the game to the end of the game. Yeah, A team. Just couldn't seem to get it going. And then defensively, whereas kind of they have their juice and where they get their energy from. They couldn't really get many stops. They forced Brady to a few incompletions, right? Because he's a deep ball thrower, but he still had 221 yards, almost 12 yards of completion, 7 TDs to the one pick. Marvin, like we just talked about, having a Hall of Fame type game, and it was a lot of Outlaws in this game, just being scrappy on the defensive side of the ball, being kind of finesse and a little bit too quick, honestly, for A team. I'm not really worried about A team as weird as that sounds because they always kind of have these lapses. But it was Chris and I spoke before the game and we made our predictions and we both picked A team to win the game. I said a little
Really?
bit, yeah, it was like
Based on the
36.
lineup Outlaws had, or in spite of that?
No, in spite of that, we looked at it was just kind of where we thought who needed to win a little bit more, and A team is fighting for their playoff lives, and it was all Outlaws in this game from start to finish.
You guys are both cheering out Outlaws because it favored Arnold's to have an A team loss, right?
It did. I'm not a big Outlaws guy, but I had to wear my orange that day to help Iron Wolves.
I think you were being a little nice in your game recap over here because, like, After the Cowboys demolishing of the Detroit Lions this weekend, the word that I was hearing a lot was embarrassment. And to come out in this important game and being down 32-2 at halftime for a team, to me, that I call that an embarrassment. And I think those players, if they have anything to say about that word, I don't think they're being fair towards themselves. The first question I had was, were Jeremy and Ashton there? Because I know Ashton's not always there and he's missing games because of work and all that. And I figured, okay, maybe 18 were missing their top guns. No, they were full roster. They were missing, I think they were missing Hensley in this game. I remember seeing him. Actually, I don't see him on the roster, but they were pretty much full force A team, right? Compared to Outlaws, who are missing their starting quarterback, Steve, who Brady Steve, it's like almost the same thing, but still, I still give Outlaws a slight edge with Steve in a quarterback. Not to say anything bad about Brady, it's 1A, 1B. Also missing Elliott and Clement, who are two of their top guys. Max, who's been their snapper all season, was also missing. They had to rely on James coming in a sub for them. And can't really say Brady threw to many of these guys besides Marvin and Smuda, right? So to see this big of a gap between these two teams when Outlaws were comfortably sitting at the one spot and could have very well afforded to lose this game, and A team were coming in hungry, absolutely needing the win. Like there's no other word but embarrassment. And like I say this, and like I'm confident that A team will still make the playoffs, but it's really a head scratcher to me. You have your full team, and like look, I saw them play the week before or 2 weeks ago against Pocket Rockets, and it was like the 33-19 scoreline does not do it justice. That game was like a 75-0 game. How 18 dominated it, and after that loss to the Outlaws, bounced back, and they had that team chemistry and the team build, and they were playing as a unit and as a team. And like I remember we spoke about it after that game, where I'm like, if this team sticks together like that, they're unbeatable. Like it's the A team that won the back-to-back chips and everything. Like they're gonna destroy anyone on their way. And then they were facing this Outlaws team who was not banged up, but like not at full strength, and they had all their guys in a like you're not must win, but they made their playoff lives a lot more difficult by losing that game, right? Um, and to me, it's really the score. Like, A team's not a team to lose by 25 points anywhere. Like, they should not lose a game by 25 points. They're way better than that. Like, this team on paper, like, and there's a lot of great teams in Division One, and it's not like by far, but I have A team as the best team on paper in this division. And looking at through all the rosters preseason, you looked at Ace team's roster, and they brought the band back, and they got Ashton and Jeremy back from Master Chiefs with the already championship pedigree that they had. A Hall of Famer now, Andrew Grant on that team, and I'm like, who can beat this team? Like, they don't have a weakness on that team, so it was really shocking to me to see that score line.
It's hard to say what was more. I question their offense or their defense, and that's kind of surprising because this team does usually play complementary football. And when Dave, and this offense struggles, the defense is there to pick it up. Led by Dylan, but it was just like it's like these guys were sleepwalking, unfortunately, in this game, and it was really as if they were the one seed with not much to play for, and Outlaws were fighting for their playoff lives. And it's surprising because the last 4 games now they've won one of their last 4 games, and that one win coming against winless Pocket Rockets. So, like you said, I'm not really worried about A team, although they're gonna have to start winning obviously, and they may need a little bit of help because they're on the outside looking in right now. But they do go through these struggles, and it was just not a game I expected at all, really, from from a team that plays with a lot of energy, urgency, and that really prides himself on on being able to pick each other up as teammates. It was shocking.
Yeah. Do you guys play KLB again?
No, I think we have no, we have Rockets, Outlaws, and an A team.
So A team will need some help from the outside because look, they have 2 games remaining. Luckily, they're against Arnos and KLB, right? So but they still do not control their own destiny at 100% because even if they win both those games, they'll be 6-4. Iron Wolves and KLB can still finish at 6-4, even though they would lose to A team. And then we're looking at a 3-way tie, and then we're gonna look at points against. Well, normally A team are really good in that category. Right now, they're not. So even if a team wins both those games, there's still a scenario where they do not make the playoffs, which would be mind-boggling to me.
It's true because you look at common games, and there's not going to be that many in Div 5, right? With 5 teams.
Div one, you mean? Yeah,
Sorry, Div 1, yeah, Div 1
it
with
would have
five
to
teams.
be all three teams would have to have played an equal amount of times against each other to look at the head-to-head amongst tied teams.
Hmm.
And if that's not the case, we're looking at points against.
So probably will be points against then. Yeah, you're right. That's what I
That
mean. Like,
also assumes a team wins both their next two games against Arnold's and KLB. So like a team needs to win both those games and hope that KLB or Arnold's drop a game, or they win those two games without giving up a lot of points against.
yeah, it's definitely doable, right? They've been in worse situations before, but if there's a time a team needed to bounce back from a wake up call, they got to bounce back in week
I
10.
said all that, and if I had to make a bet, I'd still predict 8 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all. They're only half a game out.
And then this other game was pretty weird itself, 34-14. I saw KLB score right before half to take the 8-6 lead. And also, I saw them score when Plot found Avery in the end zone to take the 14-12 lead. But then it was all Arnold's for the rest of the game there.
Yeah, it was, man, a very very weird first half, 8-6. Like I say, all three quarterbacks struggled to move the football because Poole came in late and DeChesney started at QB for KLB. It was, yeah, really really weird first half, low scoring to say the least. But man, our defense has come up clutch time and time again. We're able to get four interceptions in this game, and then finally I was able to smarten up on the offensive side of the ball. But it's good to have teams where you have guys hold each other accountable, but in a positive way, and that's kind of what was happening in this game. Guys were saying, let's try this, let's try that. I see this. Keep your head up, and that's what we were
Maybe want
able
to
to
say, let's
do.
try someone else at quarterback.
Now, I said, guys want to switch it up, and they're like,
You
no,
actually asked?
no, 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 no. But no, we wouldn't do that, right? That's kind of how this team is. We kind of rock and roll with the guys we have at certain spots, and because KOB is not an easy offense to stop, and they were missing arguably their two top guns statistically. But you still have Avery in this game. You have DeChesney at snap. You have Alex Valiev playing, who's more than just a rusher, obviously, and we were able to limit them on their offensive side of the ball, and then finally the ball got rolling on our offensive end. Chris having a great game, Josh too with the two TDs, Manu a couple bombs, and Laristis with his sure hand. So it was a good complimentary game.
Alexandre Valliere, man, what a player! Like what a player on both sides of the ball. Obviously, in this game as a rusher, getting a safety on the first play of the game, 4 total sacks here. Uh, Talk about a rusher version of Flash. It's probably him, right? Going all out, like literally diving for the flag, falling 5 to 10 yards behind you. Looking at the stats, like it's really, really, really impressive the season he's having right now. Um, Look, 16 sacks through 7 games, including 3 safeties. You look at Devin, Khalil, Francis, and even John averaging about or a little more than a sack a game, but like Alexandre Valliere really running away with the best rusher so far. And I'm not saying this because I'm pro rushers, but he has a case for best defensive player in Division One right now. And I say a case, but he's probably the favorite.
The three safeties are huge. That's to see one in the season, two, okay, but three, with they have still a couple games left. That's impressive.
I take 3 safeties over a pick six any day. The same
Yeah,
amount of points, and you get the ball back. It's not even
yeah,
debatable.
that's true. That is true. Exactly. You're doing it 3 times, right? Yeah, yeah. Like there was a times where I couldn't even throw to my first read. First play of the game was I was looking to Manu, and I literally threw to my first read, and I still got safety. So he came in like a bullet.
Yeah. So it's all for Division One. What division you want to go to next?
Let's go Div 4.
You said Division Four?
Yeah, let's go.
Division Four. Oh wow. Okay, let's go over the standings here because I believe we were talking about that final playoff spot being between Mustard Tigers or Nothing But D, right? And we were debating who will it be, who will it be, and now look, neither of them are in a playoff position, and it's fat players or FAT players who are on the inside. Yeah, Mustard Tigers have a few games in hand. Nothing But D do not. They're literally one game behind. But it's crazy how that changed, eh? Pretty quickly.
Yeah, one Saturday, man.
Fat players with two huge wins against Sour Peeps and Slot Machine putting up 30 points in each one of those games. Nothing but D losing I didn't see the game, but 17-point difference doesn't want me saying it was a tight one to the Hawks. Um, and now let's see what the schedule is looking like coming up. So Mustard Tigers got Witching Hour and Slot Machine and Blue Badgers. Literally the three top teams of the division, or two out of the three top teams of the division. Um, um, and then who was the other team? Nothing But they got one game left against Binet, so that one's winnable. And then FAT players are also playing Binet, so that's also winnable. So gonna be an interesting playoff race to the end here.
And that's what we said about what I said about FAT players. I was surprised how much they were, struggling early on in the year. They get two huge wins. That game against Slot Machine was crazy. I got a glimpse and bits and pieces of that game. It was loud, and it was an exciting game. So yeah, make sure that you watch the rest of the FAT and Slot Machine games. Two very very exciting teams. But yeah, it's gonna be tight. And I was thinking of a situation where Mustard Tigers didn't make the playoffs, and I said, that'd be shocking, but at this point they do control their own destiny, right? If they go 3-0, then they'll make it at 6-4. If they win two, it'll come down, I guess to a tiebreaker. But like you said, that's a tough schedule for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think safe to say that five wins not guarantee you a playoff spot, right? So even slot machine action squad and FAT players can theoretically not be in.
That's how crazy this division is.
Yeah. All
But
right.
Blue Badgers big win to solidify the two seed for now.
Yeah. That witching hour Mustard Tigers game is going to be the probably the game of the week in this division right over here, right?
I like that. Yeah, I say I'm gonna go 33-27 witching hour. Stays undefeated.
Yeah, I got witching hour winning it as well. All right. What division you want to go to next?
Let's go Div 3.
Oh, another swing in the standings over here. Turf Ninjas were 4-3, and now they're 4-5, losing, getting demolished actually in their first game, 51-20 against Drama Club. Small Valley Kid having maybe the game of his life there, and losing to Iron Wolves later in the day, 34-20. Every time I kept turning around, I was seeing like either a pick or a sack or a drop. Like it was a tough outing for Turf Ninjas for sure. They're not mathematically eliminated, so that's the good news for them. They do have one game remaining against CIA Fusion, so that's not going to be easy. CIA Fusion has not yet clinched the one spot, so we know they're still going to play to win there. Yeah. Did you see any of these
Yeah,
games?
Turf Ninjas two tight losses. It's funny, like I saw some of the drama club Turf
First one was
Ninjas
in
and
tight.
the what?
You said two tight losses. The first one was nothing but tight.
Yeah, fair, yeah, good. Even the second one, I guess. But yeah, drama club was a lot of the usual. Simon Valiquette to Ben Denis. One drive I watched, he had three of the four catches. But shout out Michaelis Rogers because I saw him get a bunch of sacks. Every time I turned over, he seemed to be getting a sack here and
Holy
a sack
shit, Timo
there.
got sacked 6 times?
Yeah, six, and he saw the crazy stat line that he did. So I guess it's better to eat the ball there like Simon did. But yeah, Turf Ninja is gonna be a tough one there. Um, Arnold's game, John played well. Had a really good game with connected with Josh a few times, a few deep balls against the Ninjas. So for them that you kind of want to teach Trip Ninjas to pull away with that victory against a team like Arnold's, but it's going to come down to their game, against CIA, like you said.
Was Simon trying to run like me, running 9 times in the game? It's crazy. Still having positive yards because all the sacks count for negative rushing yards. So he still finished the day with positive yards despite getting sacked 6 times. That's pretty impressive. Also want to shout out Jean with her 4 touchdowns on the day on 5 catches. Career game for her. Ben Danilo, like you said, 5 for $121, 2 touchdowns, averaging 24 yards a pop. That's pretty crazy. On the season, he must be up there too. What is it? Where our drama club? Yeah, over 12 yards a catch. Uh, Look at the best receiver race here in Division Three. It's going to be a tight one between Josh and Ben. Even Nigel with the 17 touchdowns. Oof. Yeah, you got Nigel leading in touchdowns, Josh leading in yards, Lucas leading in receptions. Wow. Who would you give it to right now?
Yeah, I was just thinking that, man. I know he has quite a few less catches and about a bit over 100 less yards, but the 17 TDs is impressive.
Yeah, it's like it's literally 1A, 1B, 1C right now, and I think I like Josh because he's like leading in yards and he has enough touchdowns with a lot of receptions. Look, Nigel does have a game in hand, right? So anything could happen there. What's hurting Ben's case that he's not leading in any of the categories. So, like, let's say the season ended today, it'd be tough to give the best receiver award to someone who's not number one in at least one of those 3 categories, right? Um, but it is close. And Drama Club play Arnold's next week, so gonna have to strap each other up to see who's gonna get the best receiver there.
I think a pretty big game for both teams too. I think.
Yeah. And what division do we go to next?
Alrighty, let's go Div 5.
What's the playoff picture looking here? Only 2 games. Um, Huge win for 28-3. Absolutely needing that one. Big Booties kind of needed that. Well, actually, they absolutely needed that one if they wanted to keep their playoff hopes alive. They're not mathematically eliminated right now, but it ain't looking too good for them. 3 games left. Guang Dynasty pick Sixers and Phoenix. Yeah, it's not looking too good. I actually saw both of these Division 5 games. I was really impressed with Bear Hood completely dominating the first half 20-0 against a pretty good Aspen team. I've been playing pretty well lately. Um, yeah, Emilio doing most of his damage on the ground, 13 attempts for 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. Carlos Emilio both getting a pick there. Insane pick by Carlos. He read the quarterback really well and jumped it. Um, and then in the big booties game, look, 23 have a pretty good defense. It was tough to get things going. 5 picked by Jorge, but they weren't not all on him. Um, yeah, not much to say about this game, except 23 have that defense. They're rolling. They're in a playoff position right now. Uh, and yeah, looking at the upcoming games this Saturday, got quite a few to compensate for the 2 that we just had.
Oof. Yeah, it's gonna be tight between Titans all the way to pick Sixers to see who grabs that last spot. The Titans 28-3 is going to be the game to watch.
Yeah, Titans slowly getting out of a playoff position here, like slowly every week going down, 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 down. Uh, yeah. Also, that battle for first place is going to be pretty interesting with Phoenix, Slicks, they last calls. Um, yeah.
Yeah, pick Sixers a good little run. Hopefully they got a win out there and you need a little help too at 10.
Yeah. What division do you want to go to next?
Let's go women's.
What happened in the women's division this past weekend? Um, Steelers taking care of business against Majestic Divas, but I did notice it was 9-0 with under a minute remaining in the first half. Brenda and Steelers needing a fourth down, 19-yard completion to get on the board. Could have very well been down 9-0 going into halftime, but it was all defense for Majestic Divas, right? Getting a pick six by Angie, and a safety by Shamika. But then the second half was all Steelers. The Majestic Divas couldn't get that offense rolling. Tough outing for them, but they did get the victory against Des Drapeau and Viviane Plourde right after. It wasn't pretty, but what does Mom always say?
Yeah, ugly win, better than that pretty loss.
You bet. Kayla throwing 4 interceptions, but also throwing 4 touchdowns to get the dub. Roxane Roy, probably career game for her on the receiving end, 7 for $126, 3 touchdowns, a 1 point convert. Yeah, she really balled out in that one. Look, Des Drapeau showed some promise. They had some nice plays led by Florence, who I believe was snapping in that game, 10 for 72, 2 touchdowns, but it was not enough. And then finally, later in the day, Crazy Bees getting their first win of the day against Dirty Chai Latte. Look, all the teams, or at least most of the teams in the women's division, are great and have a great sportsmanship. But these are the top 2 teams in that category by far. All the girls on each of these 2 teams have really great character, really embodying what the MFL is all about. And it was fun to see one of them getting their first win of the season. Roxane subbing for Crazy Beats, the quarterback position, leading them to their first win. Susanna was great, receiving 6 for 76, 2 touchdowns. Lauriane Pilon, 5 for 67, a touchdown. Quite a few highlights in this game. Getting 8 tackles, most of them were diving left and right to get the girl's flag there. And yeah.
Yeah, big performance there by the trio, like you said. Roxanne subbing at the quarterback position, and then Susanna and Lorianne. I saw one of Lorianne's catches in this game. Nice, and you look at like the yards per catch, pretty impressive. Almost 13, then 13.4. They have another receiver with 7, so not being afraid to throw the ball down the field for Crazy Bees.
Yeah, and looking at the standings here, Crazy Bees could technically still squeeze in, but I think the top 4 teams are going to remain the top 4 teams here. So yeah, we have Crazy Bees playing Des Drapeau. If Crazy Bees want a chance to squeeze in, they got to string another win together there. Tigres playing Steelers in that rematch of the first time they played each other, that blowout. So this is for sure probably your game of the week here. Steelers with the win will clinch the first place in this division. And yeah, Majestic Divas playing against Des Drapeau again could be a big game for seeding there. But do you want to play Tigres or Steelers in the first round? I don't know which one. Like choose your poison, right?
That's it. Yeah, huge game this weekend between Steelers and Tigres for the 1 spot.
Next up,
Did we do a Div 2?
Div 2 feels good to win. Honestly, nice to me for one of the better teams in this division. The only team that beat Respect in regulation, like without accounting for a forfeit. We got, I'd say, lucky in a sense that Ben Faubert was injured and couldn't play, but they had a Guillaume Fontaine subbing for them, who's also a great player. Guillaume Renaud Dumoulin, insane arm, insane quarterback. Hall of Famer Andrew Grant, we know how good he is. But this was like I think a statement win for us. It was good to beat a good team. I think it's most of our wins were against teams that are not in a playoff position. It was our first big win. Really helping us to make the playoffs in a solid position now. The defense played tremendous, like just giving up 24 points, nice TDs. Not giving up any converts was huge in this game because they had the ball at the end of the game. And I know it was a 9 point game. And when they were driving on that last drive, it felt as if the game was already over because if they scored, we could have just called the game. They didn't even end up scoring. But had we gotten one fewer convert or had our defense let up one extra convert, well, just one convert for them, they're driving at the end of the game with a chance to tie or win the game, right? That's how big converts are, and it just showed it in this game. And I wanted to put the focus and the emphasis on it because we don't realize that most of the time. Look, they just had one fewer touchdown, but they had three fewer points on converts as well, and that really made the difference in this one.
Yeah, and like you said, it's pretty impressive where defense doesn't get a pick, but still does their job right. We force them to punt, stop them on fourth down. But like complimentary is a term I've been using a lot this episode. Offense played super well, 33 points, putting up against a good defense. You had a great game, read the field well, 5 touchdowns to no interceptions was huge. And then yeah, our defense led by Duchesne, putting guys in the right spots and not limiting Andrew Grant with 108 yards, but limiting everybody else
Yeah,
after that to 3 catches or less.
yeah. I respect getting that win against Phoenix with Avery at quarterback, and then Vince taking care of business with Tigres. Also, Tigres without their quarterback Nestor. This makes things very interesting with 2 weeks remaining in the regular season. Looking at the standings here, Phoenix might still be alive, and the only team that's really clinched is respect.
Wow.
Talk about like a tight play standings, a competitive division. 11 great teams here. Yeah,
And then you still have that one seed up for grabs, right? Rejects have a slim shot to snatch that one in the bye.
yeah.
Yeah, tough for Rossos. Are they gonna have to beat respect to keep their playoff hopes alive? Villains, curious to see who they play against. Villains double dippers. That could be the game
couldn't
that
have
we.
it couldn't have been the schedule couldn't have been better scripted for villains, right? Needing a win against who? Against double dippers the most.
Man, that's gonna be a good one at 130.
Yeah. Yeah. What do we got left?
Think we did all of Montreal.
We did one, two, three, four, five. We did women's. We spoke about our Hall of Famers. Go Brossard D1. Let's take a look at our standings here. We had Red Knot Skins pulling off 2 wins. Spartans were on a bye. First place before their bye, first place coming out of their bye. Can't ask for anything better than that. Sorry, Red Knot Skins did not win both their games. They lost to Punishers. That was a huge win for Punishers because they would have been in a 3-way tie for that last playoff position. And now we got Old School on the outside looking in because Southsiders beat Old School. What a huge game that was.
But this can be exciting. Three games left for 3, 4, and 5. Every game basically a playoff game.
Look at this. Punishers got 2 huge games once again, playing against Spartans, then playing against Old School. If they could take care of business against Old School in the morning, they won't have to worry as much when they play against Spartans right after, right?
True.
And Southsiders playing against Iron Chiefs must win that one as well. It's not looking very good for Old School, eh? I had them as one of the favorites in this division coming into the season.
It's almost a must win against Punishers this 9:30 bright and early.
Then I think they have 2 games during the last week playing Red Knotskins and Southsiders. Yeah. Let's look at Division 2. I think it's almost just as tight. there. Les Perchauds beating White Lightning 20-0, and then Furious Not Fast losing in overtime to Impact, who are the first place team. Banana Blitz getting that blowout win against White Lightning. Let's go look at the stats real quick in these games here. I wonder how many overtimes it took for this to get settled. Okay, just one. I'm curious if Furious Not Fast went for one or two there to tie it and keep going, or to win it flat out. Um, yeah, White Lightning with only 6 points on the board through their two games. Um, Struggling there, but like looking at the standings, we got a battle for first place and maybe a battle for the playoffs, right? Um, Les Perchauds, have they clinched? I don't think so, especially since they have a forfeit loss on the season. If Banana Blitz could upset Les Perchauds this upcoming weekend instead of 5-5, they'll have hope that they could maybe be in. If Les Perchauds can also lose their last game, that will be against Impact, who are the best team of the division right now and looking to secure that one seed. So Banana Blitz, you're still alive.
It looks like even that Furious Not Fast could potentially. I know they're fighting for the playoff lives, but they could even grab the one seed. That's how much is still at play.
Yeah. And last but not least, MFL Laval. Fortunately, the Wonder Dogs had to forfeit their game because they're all in New York. I think they watched the Jets and the Giants because they were playing in New York on Sunday and Monday night. Um, Galactic Fun beating Northsiders. It's going to be our game of the week. We have Patrick O'Reilly's drone footage that's going to probably already be out by the time I say this. Lots of highlights in this game. It was a great game to film because there were a lot of highlights in this game. Panthers V2 against Villains. Really slow start for Panthers V2. Well, actually, not a slow start. They scored early on a fourth down, but then they couldn't get anything done, taking a 28-12 loss here. Northsiders, I believe, were outside of the playoffs at this point. They knew they couldn't get in. They were having a little more fun starting their captain, Alexandre Wattier, at the quarterback position. Didn't go too well. Dynasty flexing their muscles on them. Sébastien Bessard, Alexandre Bessard, Bishop and Lessard, excuse me, 3 touchdowns apiece. Kevin Marion balling out in this game. And then Team Sauce, the Bandits. What a back and forth game here. Bandits squeaking out a victory at the very end, even though Team Sauce was leading from the majority of this game here. Look, it wasn't a pretty game. It was actually pretty ugly. Quarterbacks combining for 7 total interceptions. At the end of the game, it's if neither team wanted to win it. Bandits finally scoring at the end. It was Frankie to Matt for that 2-yard touchdown. And Villains beating the Jason Armanteles Gators by the score of 18-6. Looking at the playoff picture right now, it's still extremely tight. But I think safe to say the 6 teams that are in a playoff position now are going to stay in it. Look at the top of the standings. Got Les Vilains and Dynasty at 1 and 2. I think they are your 2 best teams of this division. If I had to say today, it's probably my finals preview, especially if they could both pull off the 1 and 2 and get that bye. That bye there. But yeah.
Yeah, look, the Gators gonna have a big weekend, right? Look, they're only 1 game behind the 6, 5, 4, and 3 seed, so at least it's gonna be tight for them. But yeah, they're gonna have to beat a Han Audibles team. That's game of the week.
Yeah, if they could win that game, they'll have the same record. They'll have the tiebreaker over them. So yeah.
Damn, some tight races.
Indeed. What a show. Hall of Fame show, if you ask me.
Agreed.
So 2 weeks remaining on the schedule. Hope to see you all Saturday. Check the schedules. We'll be back at Darcy McGee and Arthur Terrien for the final 2 weeks, mixing it up. Still Illinois Park for Brossard, Parc Isabelle for Laval. Um, yeah.
Some good stuff, exciting stuff. And do we know is play Lebert all the playoffs or at
Uh,
least
Looking
championships?
like it, not confirmed, but looking like it. It looked pretty good this past Saturday, right? The pizza tasted good.
Oh, did it ever?
I hope the pigeons like the candy that was left on the floor, and
You got some too at the end.
yeah. All right. That's it for today.
Good show, like you said. Hall of Fame show.
Yeah, and don't forget to congratulate our Hall of Famers, Chris Hope, Andrew Grant, Marvin Steinberg, Craig O'Brien. Congratulations once again. Without you, the MFL wouldn't be the MFL.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. See you guys and girls on Saturday.
Thanks for tuning in.